Good morning and welcome to Open Conversation on our television network. Open Conversation Network's flagship through which political news, event stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, it political talks about specific issues, party system and actor to explore hope and a gender-positive impact to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we'll look at these stories. PDP crisis. Police seals party secretariat as Turaki national meeting. Politics. Nigeria not under threat. Wike dismisses Turaki's claim. PDP presidency accuses Turaki of high intervention call. And on insecurity, postpones foreign trips following attacks. And Amechi blasts federal government, offers help on insecurity. U.S. slams Nigeria over KB kidnapping. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll get into the show. Do not go away. Welcome for us. Joining me on open comment this morning is Chris. Hi, good and welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Police authorities on Tuesday see Secretary People's Democratic Party in Abuja. There was data office with wire supporters, gas, trains.
Are a mesh with this kind of political quagmire. It's unfortunate that allow themselves to be in a situation. I don't want to say it's unresolvable, but obviously the crisis in PDP affect the fortune of the party in 2027. I don't see PDP coming out of this whole deciding metamorphosis to what first crisis is started after 2023 election. That's when this whole thing we saw wicked fashion and the other ones article. It all started with the zone of the presidential, the wicked fashion. Since who's from the north has completed the term as a president, his wife for jobs that come to the north, who from the PDP, from the north, he's from the military. It's not far from what Nigeria is facing. Belong and overshadowing technique. You the not believing that if you want to they're not either you them president you make you promise you're not win president. And we can where we this is country. But in our sense, are we so when I the president PDP decided to support the general PDP. I say this you cannot blame when you are inflict. So they support presidency. That's the of this crisis. From time, people remain divided. People has left. The it's still there. Now, okay, the faction, one chairman, two factional men of them. How are they going to do that?
Committee.
He is not a push around. Push him has shown now uh, the to Congress to elect the executive and the election say let the states and the state elect conduct pass in national balance and no they want and the secure the order court complicate and give an say please to an should be part. So if you want to basically court does to entertain that suit we a court to say that's court that the order
It's high into
it to say no it's a part you don't have jurisdiction what is to deliver judgment but that what it is that whatever I don't want to
but after uh,
election Act, and the same executive that do not have any legal, I did, and the matter was that to stop INEC from using and executive law, and we believe that one party, so court gave fine, which made in 2019.
Because the judgment after
Candidate, that's what it means. Because we did not law the if that is this candidate. Not recognize. So that Congress recognized by law.
cannot
Not ever. So whatever you're doing, the law is I monitor your pressure. Part of if I did, which I not earlier, you know, this. I know law that when it comes to the for to or agency to
that's be the
high court to court to judicial, my lord, this attitude adjudicate matter. Like I said, the court is just I don't know. Entry a layman know this. Does so whatever order that are from that court is to rely on the court to say okay whatever the order is given out of the life DP National Committee, you do not have grant, you don't have standing.
so as it stands
I convention. The national work led by the did not national is there when the NWC
let's look at critical
that he did not take any notice. What that means is that for publishing, you connect the national of the party will have issue of he has not. We are not chairman of the party anymore. That
said that the national that
the
his office.
if he said he wanted his office, the result of the convention for him. So, because I realized that the one in the state is illegal, I went to my office. Now we now begin to deal because the vote of person for national church on national church Abu also that is case like faction.
So if national
chairman. Till Amagu is going to name, we will now look at when he's by chairman and members of national was he who he was now back to that. But what I think they are now, PDP should not rely on convention.
Now there is another aspect. On Wike has assertions PDP factional chairman Tanimu Turaki that Nigeria is describing the regimes as reckless and speaking in the leadership of the South-South Development Commission in Abuja. Wike criticized his remarks about a Christian genocide and appeals for foreign intervention, calling them a misrepresentation of the country and a potential national security risk. Wike insisted that Nigeria's democratic institutions remain stable, saying the real danger comes from political actors who stoke fear for personal gain. He accused Turaki's faction of escalating internal PDP conflicts and attempting to portray the federal government negatively for the international community. According to the minister, such rhetoric shows an inability to manage internal issues, blaming external forces. The minister urged the SSDC leadership to focus on development and avoid political distractions, warning against corruption, divided loyalties, and project duplication that plagued past regional agencies. He charged the board to remain disciplined, deliver meaningful community-driven projects, and uphold the renewed hope agenda, stressing that loyalty and performance, not politics, should define their service. What is your take on Turaki?
Christian genocide. in
Nigerian politics.
For me, it's not necessary. The PDP by political DP, they should sit and look at the what should be the chairman of PDP, or he should not. It's just but they inflict crisis. They are now come and intervene in Nigeria and resolve the crisis in them. The issue of legal matter, they will the court are not talking. The window of the so the estimate came of this. Not as
the stand.
The video and you don't expect the food and what to break down laws and definitely have to come in. And I'm sure it is a sort of position in the PDP National Secretary.
Well, the National Secretariat is sealed off, and
the president of
now, which brings mind it's a position he had ambition for.
Yeah.
He bought the form, he contested, and he won. Correct. Now, one would expect that, and again, for him to even climb up to that level means that he was part of the caucus of the party.
Yeah.
And of course, there have been negotiations and agreements behind closed doors. Turaki is well abreast of the intrigues, the political intrigues and the power plays in the party. He's aware of every single conflict in the party. And you know what is making me I was left flabbergasted when I watched that, because I was now wondering, was it just mere ambition of wanting to bear that title of national chairman without any plan on conflict resolution, without any plan on how to build the party? One would say just barely 48 hours after his election, and he's calling on President Trump to intervene in PDP crisis and Nigerian democracy. I am wondering, isn't that a sign of cluelessness, one, from a leader? I was expecting he would hit the ground running. And secondly, isn't that a defeatist approach? Probably, I don't know what to do. I cannot salvage this situation. I can't help this matter. So I'm calling on external forces to come and help. You only call for help when you are overwhelmed, when you are at a loss, when you are clueless of what to do, when that matter or that battle is stronger than you. So is Turaki saying by that particular call for foreign intervention in their political crisis that he is already defeated? He doesn't know what to do. He's clueless. He is overwhelmed. Barely 48 hours.
I think the Turaki-led faction believe that. I read the statement by the factional publicity secretary, national publicity secretary. I think the accusing finger is pointing at the president. because the crisis in PDP is between the Turaki faction, like the Bala Mohammed and all that, with the Wike. Now, Wike being a serving minister under Tinubu, so it is believed that the president is the one backing Wike against the PDP. That's just the reason why they are calling on Trump to come and intervene. But I have taken time to narrate where this whole thing started. It has nothing to do with the president. It is the PDP who refused to put their own house in order.
All right.
So for me, the PDP should just forget about 2027. Because it's obvious. The house is in disarray and they cannot. That's when I say 2027 is 2027 presidency. Because you know how many governors that have left the PDP in recent
And
time?
Kefas is also, Kefas has already left. Okay. He only postponed the celebration because of the abduction in KBC.
And in Rivers State, will you say the PDP, the governor is in the PDP?
The governor did not attend the convention.
So,
and so far, we've not heard
we don't even know where the governor belongs.
We don't even know if PDP is active in Rivers
And
State.
in Rivers State, the local government chairman, except 2 local government councils, are APC. So these were areas controlled by the PDP. So they started this crisis. They did not see far that this crisis.
How many PDP governors are remaining now? Are you sure they're up to 3? Because I Shei Makinde, there is Governor Bala of Bauchi State. Who else? Of course, Taraba has defected. Adeleke, there has been conversations around his possible defection as well. There have been conversations around his possible defection. And if you recall, Adeleke was not part. Also, I think he removed himself from the expulsion of the FCT ministers faction. Him and the Taraba State governor removed themselves. And now, Taraba State clearly has defected, only postponed his celebration. And Adeleke is yet to, I think within his state, there are 1 or 2 tensions between the APC in his state and himself. And maybe when they smoothing that over, he will now announce his defection as well. And PDP will be left. Now, that brings me to the continuous defection of people from PDP, right? Now, if PDP is unable to mend fences very quickly, one would say to a large extent between December 2025 and January 2026, PDP will witness more defections, especially from people who have ambitions for 2027, for people who want to go back for second tenure or who want to install their anointed in their place, against 2027, because they will now see the balkanization of PDP. It's not going to be viable. If they don't see PDP as a viable machinery to convey them to the promised land, do you see possible more mass defection to APC at this point?
Of course, so many persons will still leave the PDP. With what is going on, a lot of people will resign their membership of the PDP to either join the APC or join the ADC. So, because the way it is now, like I said, PDP should forget about 2027 presidency. Because Wike has also told them that PDP should not file any candidate. Because he will support the government he served under as a minister. And Wike will make sure that PDP did not file any candidate in 2027 election. So the PDP, if you ask me, they should go home, go back to the drawing board, look at what they did wrong. Because for me as a Southerner, I think PDP is not fair to us. What if Atiku had won? So after 8 years of Buhari, another Atiku will come from North.
Not forgetting the conflict of interest that happened, during the Damagum or the Turaki faction of the PDP. Turaki is from Northwest, correct?
Yeah.
He emerged as the chairman, while McAfee was also from Northwest and was emerged as the Board of Trustee chairman. Recall that after their national convention, I think 24 hours after that or so, McAfee resigned as Board of Trustee and stepped down, and he was citing the fact that Turaki cannot be from Northwest
National
and being
chairman
a
from
national
Northwest,
chairman.
and he also from-
Now, which now brings to question, are these people actually strategizing properly, or are they just moving with the speed of desperation to save whatever is remaining, and they're making more mistakes along the line? Because as it stands now, does board of trustee by the Turaki faction for now has not named any interim chairman for their faction. So, which means board of trustee does not have a chairman now because McCarthy has stepped down. And Turaki, apparently 48 hours after his election, is overwhelmed and he's calling for international help in the party crisis. Now, moving forward, still on Turaki's position, presidency has accused Tanimu Turaki, the newly emerged factional chairman of the People's Democratic Party, of high treason after he publicly called out on US President Donald Trump to save Nigerian democracy amid a leadership clash at the PDP National Secretariat. Presidential spokesperson Bayo Onanuga shared a video of Turaki's remarks on X, describing the appeal as an invitation for foreign invasion, an offense punishable by death under Nigerian law. In a viral video, Turaki alleged that the democracy in Nigeria was under threat and urged foreign nations to intervene, claiming a serving minister led talks with police backing to cause mayhem at the PDP headquarters. His comments came as two rival factions of the party violently confronted each other over control of the secretariat. The outburst has intensified the turmoil within the opposition party and sparked backlash from the presidency, which insists Turaki crossed a constitutional red line. The PDP crisis continues to deepen with no resolution in sight as both factions fight for legitimacy. Now, Bayo Onanuga, spokesperson for the president, has come out to accuse Turaki of high treason, punishable, according to him, by death. What is your take on that?
Well, that's politics. At the end of the day, you see that nobody will be arrested. So it's just a normal thing to respond, to dispel the rumor that the presidency is not involved in whatever internal crisis the PDP is having. That's fine. But I think the president or the presidency should do more on the issues facing Nigeria, especially issue of security and economic hardship. They have done their part to say, okay, we are not involved. Stop calling on foreign national to invade our country, which is treasonable. But this is not also the first time people are calling on.
Well, one would say, was it not the APC at that time when Jonathan was the president? Didn't they also actually visit and call on foreign, US in particular, to intervene in Nigeria insecurity situation? So if they are saying Turaki or any person in Nigeria who is calling for foreign intervention, if they are alleging that, if they are alleging treason, one would say the people that attended that particular meeting, I mean, their pictures are out there. Maybe the long arm of the law should start from them, and some of them are in power currently. So isn't that the fact that when one was cooking, one was cooking a pot of soup, at the point you were cooking it for the guests, you forgot that someday, somehow, you might end up eating from the same pot. And probably if you put too much pepper, at this point you now need water to quench.
So it's the same. That's what, this is not the first time, like I said. The APC has called on foreign bodies to intervene in the crisis in Nigeria and all that. So this is not the first time, like I said. So the presidency has done its part. But like I said, they should focus more on the security issue in the country and the economic hardship that Nigerians are facing.
All right, very well. Still talking of security and insecurity, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has suspended his planned trips to Johannesburg, South Africa for the G20 Leaders Summit and to Luanda, Angola for the AU-EU summit, following two major security breaches in Kebbi and Kwara states. Armed bandits abducted 24 schoolgirls in Kebbi, while gunmen attacked worshippers at a Christ Apostolic Church branch in Eruku, Kwara State. According to a statement by presidential aide Dada Olusegun, Tinubu ordered the immediate deployment of additional security personnel to Eruku and the surrounding communities in Ekiti local government area. He also directed the Nigeria Police Force and Department of State Services to track down the perpetrators and provide him with comprehensive briefings. The president is awaiting a report from Vice President Kashim Shettima, who visited Kebbi on his behalf, as well as detailed intelligence from the security agencies. Tinubu reaffirmed that rescuing the abducted schoolgirls and safeguarding affected communities remain top national priorities. Chris, what is your take on this?
Before I go, I want to ask you, when is Trump coming?
Well, I am not in the
because
intelligence to do that.
Obviously, the security issue in Nigeria has overwhelmed the government of the country. That's what it means. We do not have what it takes. We do not have the political will. Not that Nigerians don't have the ammunition or the weapons to fight these people. But is it just when they attack or deploy security, like the president directed, that security should be, they should move more, deploy security to Eruku in Kwara State? Did you watch that video? Mm-hmm. I saw a video of how an elderly woman was running. I don't know how.
She couldn't run?
Eh?
She couldn't run?
She couldn't run. I wept when I watched that video. I said, what kind of country are we in? Now, they have entered Kwara. Kwara is more like the Yorubas and the Hausas community. The chiefs in the country seem to be they seem to be overwhelmed by the security challenges in the country. I don't know who is going to. That's why I asked you the first question, when is Trump coming? Because Trump has said we want to help Nigeria to eradicate these people. And I've watched many Nigerians saying it is not necessary. For me, there is need for, this thing did not just started. This killing has been here for quite a number of years. And it has always been, once there is an attack, the government will deploy security to that area. And have you also noticed that ever since Trump made that statement, these guys have increased their attack. They have attacked more community. As at yesterday, I read on a whole lot of from Kaduna to.
It's like they want to make a statement. Now, one would say, when you said Nigeria does not have what it takes.
What I mean political will, not that we don't have
right. Because I wanted to mention countries that Nigeria has actually fought for and won, and also intervened in their civil crisis and also restored peace. And we talk of Liberia, we talk of Sierra Leone, we talk of Gambia, we talk of Mali. And I think in Burma, during the World War II, we have Kosovo, we have Lebanon. Nigerian military is well equipped to fight. Nigerian military at some point was one of the most feared and respected military, not just in the West Africa, but in the African region, and respected around the world. Nigerian military has been known to go to war and restore peace in certain countries, both in Africa and beyond. And suddenly, we cannot handle the issue that besiege us in our own house. When some people say it's guerrilla warfare, what does that mean exactly? The military is trained in guerrilla warfare. However you want to look at it. Oh, it's underwater. The Navy is trained in that. Now, the question would be, Is it, like you said, okay, you're saying it is lack of political will.
Yes.
It is lack of political will. And when one is looking, a lot of issues, do not forget that there have been allegations of certain persons in government, you know, being accused of complicity with sponsoring Boko Haram. I mean, in the high corridors of power. So when one is saying what exactly, that even brings to mind Kashim Shettima, the vice president of the country, had to go back to Kebbi State, had to go to Kebbi State because he was sent. Recall that on the same day that these girls were adopted, the vice president of the nation, on the same day, was welcoming defectors in Kogi State. Kogi State, within a few hours while he was there, this struck in Kogi State. These are the bandits are becoming more emboldened. Do not forget, not too long ago, a governor's convoy was attacked by bandits, and in recent times they've been attacking the political class. Which brings to mind what exactly is going on in Nigeria now. I watched an interview where one of the intelligence officers was saying that. He said a senator, actually, that when he was in the Senate House, brought it up to the Senate, I think in Katsina State, where he said that they had overtaken some communities. He said he mentioned about 200 communities in Katsina State, and he raised it on the floor of the House. And the Senate president, you know, intervened in that matter. He said security forces were sent, and you know, that matter was really handled, and displaced residents went back to their communities. And he said in that interview that these people were coming from Zamfara. I think it should be Katsina, I hope so. I'm correct, because he said they share border few kilometers from Zamfara State, which brings us to the Zamfara State governor, who had granted interview in international media and local media, where he openly said they know where they are, they know who these bandits. He said that he knows who these bandits are. He knows where they live. He knows that they live in the communities that they live around them. And he was asked, so why can't you, why are they working? He said, because the security apparatus is not in his hands, that there is nothing he can do. Make it make sense to me. The same Zamfara State that allegations of illegal mining is going on. When you look at a whole lot, I mean, is it making sense? Is it making sense at all? I need this thing to make sense to me. How is it that one of the most feared military in West Africa, in Africa, cannot combat terrorism within its 16 years of terrorism, millions of Nigerians slain?
See, this first, there are different dimensions of this crisis. Political, religious. Now, if you look at the history of Boko Haram, where Boko Haram started in Borno, you know that Boko Haram, when the founder of Boko Haram was captured, you know the power play around his capture. Kabiru Sokoto, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to go into all that. But what I think is some persons, even it happened in Niger Delta, some persons form this group for political reason, for political power. And at a point, because that's one thing about bandits or armed group. Once you give anybody arm and you are no longer servicing that person, the person may use that arm even against your own interest. It's natural. It happened here in Niger Delta, where politicians bought guns for guys and for election. They used it to secure their victory. And after that, they were not servicing these guys. They now use this arm in their possession to begin to terrorize the community, to begin to terrorize even the person and their relative who gave them this arm. That is one aspect of it in the north. When they gave these guys for political reasons, they now turn back to use this same gun against them. That's why when some persons say, oh, they are killing the houses now, they are killing the Muslims as well. That's the reason why you see them killing the Muslims. That's number one. For political reason, some person created this insecurity. Now, another aspect of it is religious. The I listened to the American senator. He said, how can you have an Islamic law under a constitutional democracy? These are two conflicts, two opposing sides. You have Sharia law, you have the constitution. So which one do you obey? Because there are provisions that are in the Sharia law that are also provided in the constitution. So which one do you obey? How can you have a constitution where a law where you say if I say anything against your God, I have committed blasphemy, I deserve to die? How can we be in a country like that? How do you think things will move in a situation like that? That if you say anything against my Jesus, I will kill you. Is it okay? So that's where some of these things are coming from. That's the brainwashing. And people grow with that and feel that their God is superior. If you say anything against their God, you die. And the law allows them to do that. It's also part of the crisis we are facing in this country. So they go on and on. They believe that the land everywhere belongs to them. Allah owns land. They can kill you and inherit your land. So it's the training or the teaching we give to these people. So all of us are in one country. It's not all Muslims that are supporting banditry. It's not all Muslims that are supporting what is happening in Boko Haram. There are Muslims who don't support.
Who are peace loving.
Yes.
I have a lot of.
So
I have Muslim friends.
They don't have issue.
Who genuine Muslims are very peaceful. They are kind. In fact, they are even much more sincere than a lot of Christians in quotes, right? So when you want to look at it from the religious angle, you talk about Islamic extremists.
That's it.
The Islamic extremists who have jihadist mentality.
So they want
right.
The jihadists what they are fighting.
But then the issue now is that this crisis is spreading its tentacles. It is now moving. The fact is that it is in Kogi State already.
Of course.
And the fact that it's Kogi State, it is in Edo State. No, Edo State has started facing insecurity.
Okay, yes.
I hope you follow Harris and Gwamnishu, who has taken it upon himself in collaboration with Nigerian military joint task force. God bless these wonderful men who have taken it upon themselves to rescue kidnapped victims in Edo State. The level of kidnapping and killing in Edo State right now is unprecedented. And it's so sad that one has not seen Governor Obebilo react, make decisive statements or take decisive steps to see that he combats this. And it's already in their forest. It's in Edo forest already. Enugu State on its own has started, there are reports of these infiltrations of bandit attacks here and there. It has infiltrated. This morning I read a report where people are raising alarm in Ilorin. That's Kwara State. Yeah. It's already in Kwara State. It is already in Kwara State. So this has infiltrated the south. It is now in the southwest. It is also at the southeast. So we have them operating in the borders of the southwest, the south, and the southeast. And it's only a matter of time. And I think it's closer than we think.
Now, look,
what is the government doing?
That's what I wanted to ask you now. Now, I don't want people to look at it from the political angle. Because you are supporting Tinubu, you want to support the insecurity. I don't do that. People are being killed. Now, I don't see Tinubu is there are whole lots of people in power, like you rightly mentioned, that they have a pointing finger accusation. that these persons in the past or currently have one, either they are sympathizers of some of this insecurity, and they are in power, they are in government. So they are also part of those speaking for the government. So it became so complex that you don't even know who to disclose a security issue or not. See what happened. The Brigadier General who was killed said immediately he gave his coordinate. From what we read, he gave his coordinate to the defense headquarters.
How did that leak?
That was when the bandits identified his location and caught him. So meaning that these people have also infiltrated the military. Now,
when you say they have also infiltrated the military, one would say to a large extent, was it not the same Nigerian army that will capture bandits and rehabilitate them?
That's what I wanted to say.
And reintegrate them
as military officers.
I wouldn't say as military officers because, but then there is a reintegration. Reintegration into what exactly? Rehabilitation by who and by what? Because now the question would be, how many of these bandits have been captured have been successfully prosecuted? How many? Because I am trying to make these things make sense.
What
people are being sentenced to death. Let me even bring it to you, the situation of one young man in Adamawa State who was sentenced to death for of defending himself. He was in his farmland and was attacked, unarmed, and was attacked by bandits. And in course of the fight, he overpowered the bandits and killed him. And the matter was taken to court. And guess what? The High Court found him guilty. It was appealed and sentenced to death.
So he would have allowed the bandit to kill him.
Appeal court affirmed the decision of the High Court. And Supreme Court also affirmed the decision. So now, in Nigeria, if you're attacked by bandits,
you allow them to kill you. That's what
you defend yourself and the bandits dies in the process, you pay the ultimate price with your life. However, bandits who attack unarmed civilians have the effrontery to do live video showing the execution and posting it, and when they are finally caught, you know, they are rehabilitated and reintegrated. And people like Sheikh Gumi will come out and tell Nigerian government and Nigerians that we are the reason for this whole thing. Allow them to guide your forest and guide your borders. That's the only way peace will reign. Make it make sense to me.
See, we see this issue.
And Nigeria, on one hand, is expecting the same Sheikh Gumi is granting interviews working free. The same Sheikh Gumi that was deported by Saudi Arabia and barred from Hajj. But Nigeria, our reward system is really something, don't you agree?
No. See, it has to do with Africa. Now, this banditry, kidnapping, Boko Haram, ISWAP, they are basically in Africa. If you go to Saudi, they are all Islamic countries, the Arab nation. They are peaceful. Was it the Arab prince that was in U.S. recently? And he had fruitful conversation with the U.S. president on how to expand business tie with both countries. But here in Nigeria, I don't know whether because this whole thing is alarming. I don't know whether it's not the same God, it's not the same Allah that the Saudi serve are the same with the extremists in Nigeria serve.
When you take your time to go through the history of Saudi Arabia, Saudi Arabians, they were jihadists that conquered Egypt. A lot of persons were beheaded for not bowing to their Allah. And for jihadists, for Egyptians then, who insisted on worshipping their sun god, I'm delving into history, they were killed. You were given the option. You refuse to convert to their Islam, they kill you. The massacre was, I think millions were killed at that time. One would say probably over the years, you know, Saudi Arabia has evolved and, you know, they have become intolerant of these things. One would expect that countries evolve over time with civilization and begin to understand and respect dignity of human life, which Saudi Arabia currently is practicing. If we are to go back to history, I mean, even Catholic Church has its history of killing and maiming people who they claimed are apostates, right? But one would expect that over time, with civilization, it's troublesome. Or, you know, what is going on in Africa, especially West Africa, especially, one would say it's a jihadist movement.
Of course, that's
that
what
is
it
going on. And Nigerian government, a lot comes to mind. Why is it that cows, I always ask this question, why is it that cows have more value than human life in this country? See,
these things are from a particular set of people in the country. Now, they own they feel that this country belongs to them. That's why I said, I don't see Tinubu being able to resolve this crisis, because there are a whole lot of people in government who have been accused of having other sympathizers of, okay, look at Gumi. Gumi has been walking free. He has been having interaction. He knows where these bandits are. So how come the government has not been able to arrest him?
I saw a video this morning of Sheikh Gumi and Sheikh Tinubu together. I was like,
so they arrest him.
That is very interesting.
So what are we not saying?
Our deliverance is far. But then, you know.
See, somebody, I was listening to a man on one of the stations. He said, this bandit, that until you start dealing with arresting their sponsors, and that's what, see, it was intentional when I asked you America. America said they want to start from ban. They want to start restriction. If we don't restrict these people, if we don't begin to restrict or punish supporters, those who are sponsoring terrorism, we will not get to the root of it. That's just the truth. When you have people who are in government, when you have them in the military, like we read, somebody sent signal to the military defense to be rescued. And all of a sudden, that signal was intercepted. And they saw his location and killed him. That's to tell that a lot need to be done. The current military we have.
There has to be sanitization.
There has to be sanitization.
Of the military rank and file.
How do you even start? It's only when you have a higher power who will come and sit on all of us and say, hey, do it like this. Right. If it's what we have, I doubt if we are going to get to the... I've been praying and say, God help us. Because by the time this thing gets to the south, the government cannot protect anybody. Now, see what is happening in Kwara. And they kidnapped 25 school children. And I also read, while they were going to rescue them, the soldiers were ambushed. So what is happening in this country?
Right.
Our military are well equipped, but there is, I think the issue is sabotage, and the sponsors of these things are also part of the government. That's why it has been difficult for us to surmount the issue of bandit until we begin to look at it like that. We begin to look at the sponsors of these things. We will not get to the root of it. And their sponsors are not far. How come for 16 years we have had Boko Haram, we have had ISWAP, we have had banditry? Nobody has been arrested as a sponsor.
And prosecuted.
Boko Haram. The sophisticated weapon we see these guys brandish on social media, how are they even getting this weapon? You see them, they look hungry, but you see them with sophisticated weapons of millions of naira. So who
trained them on how to use?
And these guys have been emboldened that you see them execute people.
Communities are now calling them for negotiations.
No,
that in Katsina State
I read something.
That is a mark of failure on the side of the government. When people, a community or communities have so lost confidence in the system, in the security forces, in the government, that even with the local government chairman decides to go hand in cap to these armed bandits, willing to pay taxes to them, willing to pay certain amounts for their lives to be spared. And guess what? That doesn't even stop it, because they still attack them at the end of the day. Well,
now, I read somewhere, bandits who came for negotiation was wearing a police officer's clothes that was killed. What it means that I think an assistant commissioner of police was killed. Yes. They took his uniform, and in one of the negotiations, the bandit wore that cloth to the negotiation. Right? This country is in a total mess. God will help us.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Chris. I know you have a lot to say, but we are out of time. Thank you so much for coming this morning. It's a pleasure having you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
And thank you so much, our viewers, for always staying connected to us. And we wrap it up at this point. Transition News comes up next. I remain Ogu Laurentia. Please see you same time tomorrow. Do not go away.